if even if you are from Bhopal, you are asked to stay at hostel. Is it true? You mentioned that there is an old hostel, new hostel. How does that hostel have a feeling? आपको participate करना है, you participate, but attendance गई तो गई. We will not going to accommodate that one. So how's the experience with this online internship? Like you mentioned, what is that X factor you believe and you have seen it around NLIU Bhopal? इस वजह से students ज़्यादा prefer करते हैं instead of going to GNLU Gandhinagar. So hello everyone, and once again welcome to the YouTube channel of Get Set Law by IMS. So my name is Siddhant, and with me there is one of my very close favorite student. And why she is close and why she is favorite, because she was one of the most sincere students when she was preparing for CLAT, and I was very happy while I was mentoring her. And close क्यों? क्योंकि we both belong to the same city, that is Bhopal. ठीक है. The best part is that we will going to take up this session in the law school Insider series. Today we're going to talk about one of the top 5 national law colleges, which is again from our city of lakes, that is from Bhopal. So National Law University of Bhopal. So before we start with this session, so we'll have a small introduction about Bhavya. So Bhavya, can you just brief about yourself? You are from Bhopal. What's your background? Which stream you were in 12th, and what made you choose field law? Or are you the first generation lawyer, or you have people in family? So what was that thought? क्योंकि ये बहुत सारे students को thought आता ही है, आपको भी आया होगा. So how you tackled this thing and then ended up into NLIU Bhopal?
Hi everyone, I am Bhavya Singh. I'm a second year law student at NLIU Bhopal. I'm studying BA LLB Honours. I'm from Bhopal and my background in class 12th was humanities with IP. So what made me choose law was one of the initial things that I've always been interested in is reading. And when we come to law school, the one thing you're told is that you'll have to read a lot. So beginning 10th and 11th, I got interested into reading and research, which are skills that you require in this field. And as I practiced more into it, 2 different practice areas. Firstly, I researched in history, and then I got interested in constitutional development and such evolution of the field of law. I researched and read more into it, and I found out that it is something that I would enjoy doing for the next 5 years, or it is something that I would be good at, which made me pursue law. I am also a first generation lawyer. Nobody in my family is into law. However, I believe my house always had a very academic background, which encouraged original thinking, critical thinking, which made me inclined towards law.
Okay, so very well said. So one important thing for all the students who are viewing this particular video, and even the parents who are watching this video, should know that if you are a liking towards reading and researching more about certain things, then definitely you can make your career in the field of law. Okay. So now talking about, let's start with the infrastructure only, because I have seen a bit of infrastructure. There was one of the time when the CLAT consortium has identified it as one of the center for CLAT exam also, and it becomes a center. So I was part of it and I just went inside it. But besides having a good pathway of having lush green near between 2 dams, it's there, Kerwa Dam, Kaliasot Dam के पास. The main mark which I've seen for NLIU Bhopal, जो एक बहुत ही proudly infrastructure part होता है, उनका एक library they have, वो चमकता हुआ central library, ठीक है. But you have been there for almost like 1 year, 2 years, it's being there, right? So what is that infrastructure? Can you just take a student entering from that gate? How does the campus look like? What's the feel?
So as sir already mentioned, there's a lot of lush greenery. And I think that is one of the best parts about the campus. You can walk around a lot because it's a huge campus. So as you enter the gate, you see the Gol Chakkar, and on the left, the campus is circular, so you move around at the same place. There's a Gol Chakkar, and then you see the library. The library is called Gyan Mandir. It's a 3-story library. We have all sorts of books available there. We have all sorts of law journals. We have tribunal reports. One good thing about NLIU that library reminds me of is the e-library access we have. So we have off-campus access to all the major legal databases like SCC Online and Manupatra. Moving towards the main campus, there are two academic blocks. So there's Academic Block 1 and there's Academic Block 2. Academic Block 1 hosts the first year and the fourth and fifth year. Academic Block 2 has the second and the third year. So both of these are blocks with 6 classrooms each. And then there is the Rajiv Gandhi Cyber Law Center, which is NLIU has a specialized LLM in cybersecurity as well as the BSc course. So the classes for the BSc first year are held there. That is a very state-of-art facility with a great conference hall. Then there's the auditorium in front of the Acad Block 1 where you host events and orientations for cells. There's a convention center where large events are held. And then there are a total of 6 hostels. There's a UG hostel for the first years. There's a PG hostel for the PG pursuing people. Then there is a new girls hostel that has the second and third years in it. There's a new boys hostel that has the second and third years in it. And the old girls hostel and the old boys hostels, which have the fourth and fifth years. There are also establishments for recreation. So we have a sports complex where every major sport is available. We have eateries as well. We have a canteen. We have 2 to 3 shops that provide other sort of food items. There's a Nescafe where you get coffee and sandwiches. There's another Amul shop and there's a juice center as well. So these are the major centers in the campus where people hang out.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So like everything is there at a one stop inside the campus. Okay.
Also to mention, there's an operational health center at all times. There's an ambulance, there's a general store. So even for emergencies, the campus is well equipped.
Okay, so just clarify this particular thing which I came to know and to my knowledge थोड़ा बहुत जो मैंने सुना है students से, if even if you are from Bhopal, you are asked to stay at hostel. Is it true?
So it is not necessary. For example, I was a day scholar in the first year and I moved into the campus in the second year. So you can opt for the hostel if you're from Bhopal, or you can live at your home also. It's not necessary.
Okay, fair enough. And do they provide some pickup drop bus facilities for the students who are in Bhopal?
Not to apply to the university. However, there are bus services that accrue separately, for example, to take the students to markets on a regular basis, but not for pick and drop for daily classes.
Okay, and since to all the students and the parents who are watching, so it is basically located at a spot which is said to be secluded but not very outskirts of Bhopal because nearby, I would say in the vicinity of 3 kilometers, you have everything like a good food eating spots are over there. हाँ मतलब at night time it become quite scary, but when there are people around it is not completely dark. मतलब completely dark as in that it is not unsafe to travel, but that is what I can also add on क्योंकि मैं भी भोपाल से हूँ तो मैंने देखा हुआ है वो पूरा route. So there are good roads even I think to add into what it is, right? और eateries भी बहुत सारे खुल गए nearby पे, right?
So you can enter our campus up until 10 p.m. Main gate entry curfew time is that. So up until 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., there is a lot of activity around that area. And it's well lit as well. So there are 2 ways. One is from Kolar, one is from Nilgarh. And within 2 kilometers of the campus, you have numerous restaurants now. Big restaurants that have good facilities. And within 2.5 kilometers, you move towards the main road of Nilgarh. Right. And within 4 to 5 kilometers, you move towards the main city from Kolar. So none of that it is that far away. It is pretty far from the main city, but you can reach the main city within 10 to 15 minutes.
हाँ मतलब it's not very difficult क्योंकि भोपाल में बहुत ज़्यादा traffic होता नहीं, roads are also very good, very wide, so you can easily approach over there. ठीक है, fair enough. So let's talk more about the hostel facility. You mentioned that there is an old hostel, new hostel. How does that hostel have a feeling? Like, how does your room look like? Like, do you have a separate cupboard, a separate study table, or is it a 2 sharing, 3 sharing? How does these hostels are?
So up until the second year, we have a double sharing room. Up from the third year onwards, we get a single room. So in the double sharing room, each roommate gets a cupboard, a bed, a table, chair. Basically, every thing or facility is available individually. And so in the room, you have ample space for 2 people to live in. And there's a private space. You can have privacy. And then in the hostel, there are shared washrooms. Every 4 or 5 rooms, there's a washroom available nearby. So that is also all right and pretty accessible. And then there's the mess in the hostel that gives you food 4 times a day, which is breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinner.
And how does the food of mess, like, is it a good deal?
It is fairly edible. I mean, obviously, it's not as good as home, but
Okay.
the menu is pretty diverse. You get all sorts of food. There are special dinners in between. And if there is an issue that arises, there's, of course, complaint mechanism set in. You can write to the mess committee, who then take it up to the authorities. Not great, but it's not very bad either.
Okay, fair enough. You were mentioning about that you have a roommate who's from Delhi, right? So let's talk about from the point of view of the people who are not from Madhya Pradesh
Yeah.
specifically. Okay. So is it like, what is that particular feeling of
Yeah.
the students, whether they are able to accommodate in a city like Bhopal or whether it's becoming difficult for them? So the roommate must have shared it with you, right?
So one thing that I do feel is different in my college experience from that of others is that of homesickness. I do not
Okay.
feel that a lot because I have home 20 kilometers away, so I can go
Right.
anytime I like.
Yeah.
However, a lot of my friends, especially when they first came into the college, felt a lot of homesickness. And
Okay.
even now, when they go for semester breaks and return, they feel like I need to go home again, or when do I get to go to home again? But I
Okay.
feel people from tier one cities will definitely feel a contrast in Bhopal because it is a slower city in general.
Right.
However, a lot of things for activities have come up in Bhopal. You get every sort of activity available, every kind of store available. So it's not like there would be a lot of lack of resources as compared to what they get there, because everything
Okay.
has opened up in Bhopal. However, just to
Right.
adjust to the pacing of the city will be a
Right.
difficult experience. But that
Right.
also
So
comes with time.
हाँ, मतलब मुझे लगता है वो पर्सन टू पर्सन फिर वेरी करेगा, मतलब होम सिकनेस का तो इट कुड बी इन सम एनी सिटी, मतलब वो तो
Yeah,
बट बहुत ज्यादा मेजर चेंज आई डोंट सी, क्योंकि भोपाल एक तो वैसे ही सेंट्रल पार्ट है पूरे कंट्री का, तो सारे वेदर कंडीशंस एक्सपीरियंस हो जाते हैं एक्सट्रीम, मतलब ठंडी भी एक्सट्रीम बढ़िया होती है, बारिश भी, एवरीथिंग इज देयर, राइट? एंड इवन द फूड इज ऑल्सो अ मिक्स ऑफ ऑल, मतलब यू विल नॉट गोइंग टू हैव लाइक a lot many students says कि सर if we go to the southern part वहाँ पे more of कोकोनट ऑयल में कुक्ड फूड मिलता है, ये सब भोपाल में देर इज नो प्रॉब्लम, यू हैव बैलेंस ऑफ एवरीथिंग। एंड ऑनेस्टली आई एम, मतलब इट्स माय होम टाउन, तो मुझे तो वहाँ का खाना अच्छा ही लगता है, मतलब मध्य प्रदेश का खाना इज एनी टाइम बेट गुड इन कंपैरिजन विद द अदर स्टेट्स ऑल्सो, ठीक है? सो राइट, वो भी इशू नहीं होता, ठीक है। नाउ यू मेंशन कि कोई भी कंप्लेंट होता है मेस वगैरह में तो हम कमिटी है एंड देन वी कंप्लेंट, तो हाउ एक्टिव आर दीज कमिटीज, और कौन कौन सी कमिटीज हैं कॉलेज में जिसमें लाइक स्टूडेंट कैन आई ऑन जब वो फर्स्ट ईयर में आते हैं, एंड वर यू पार्ट ऑफ एनी ऑफ दीज कमिटीज इन द इनिशियल ईयर्स?
so I'll be moving to these committees that work with the admin and then the cells and clubs that we can be a part of. We have a hostel committee, we have a mess committee.
ओके।
These are the places where we can give complaints related to these two things. Then we have a student bar association where any major issue is taken. This is from an admin perspective.
ओके।
So there's a student section that you can go to for concerns like attendance and other admin
राइट।
and administration related
ओके।
stuff. Moving on to cells and committees. So there are around 20 cells and centers in NLIU,
ओके। ओके।
and they cover major areas of law. For example, there is a center for business and commercial laws, CBCL.
ओके।
There is a center for IPR laws. There is a cell for legal aid. It's called a legal aid
लीगली
clinic.
राइट।
There is a cell for parliamentary studies. There is the
ओके।
Moot Court Association. There is the
राइट।
Center for Alternative Dispute Resolution. So
राइट।
around 18 to 20 centers are there. Information on all this is available on the
ऑन द
website of
वेबसाइट, राइट, या
NLIU.
या।
Yeah. So Moot Court Association is one of the major committees. They conduct the intra-university moots. Then they hold the inter-college competitions that NLIU hosts.
ओके।
I was a part of 6 cells in my first year.
नाइस।
And I was a part of the Center for Parliamentary Studies, the Center for Labor Laws, the
ओके।
Cell for Studies in Intellectual Property Rights, Gender Justice Cell, Civil and Criminal Justice Cell, and other such cells. This year, I have joined the Center for Business and Commercial Laws
ओके।
and the NLIU Law Review, which is the flagship journal of the college. And
ओके।
there, I'm in an editorial capacity. So
ओके।
I would say every student should try to explore their areas of interest
Right.
through these centers, because a lot of these are subjects that you don't get in the first and the second year. So you get to learn more about those areas of law through these
Okay.
centers. For example, every center and cell organizes guest lectures on the or workshops on the area. So you
Right.
get to interact with experts. So
Okay.
those are the benefits that you have there. Although one thing I would say is that one thing I did was I joined a lot of cells in my first and second year both. So that
Okay.
the workload does become a little difficult to manage with classes. We
Yes.
have
Yes.
classes 9 to 4 p.m.
Oh, that's a
So
longer duration.
yeah, we have 5 classes every day. So cell
Okay.
work with that becomes a little difficult to manage. Also, when each cell has events that they are hosting, you also need to
Right.
contribute to that with your classes. So my advice would be to center on these 3 to 4 areas that you are interested in and join the cells or centers of those.
Okay, that's very well portrayed by you. So you clearly mentioned कि classes 9 to 4 होती है. तो ये initial first year का duration है या ये हर साल ही fifth year तक ऐसा रहता है? और it
Uh,
मतलब get lessen up जैसे क्योंकि internship का भी time चालू हो जाएगा फिर कुछ time पे.
Mhm. So, starting from our batch, we have 6 subjects. The rest of the
Okay.
college is 5 subjects. And in the fourth and fifth year, the workload gets lessened because the BA के subjects हट जाते हैं.
Okay.
And fifth years may you have elective. But for the starting years, these are compulsory subjects that you need to do. So we need to study 6 subjects and have 5 classes a week. It is a little
Okay.
hectic, but from 4 p.m. you are generally free. And with so our college has this mechanism of non-days. So if you do an internship and you join the college late, you can apply for internship non-days. So that is not
Okay.
considered in your attendance. So you get an attendance relaxation in that way.
Okay. Okay. So can you give an example about this? Like a student is in
Yeah.
first year, he can
Yeah.
be part of this thing which you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is available to students for all 5 years. For example, my college is starting on 1st January, and I am
Okay.
interning till 10th January, and I'm returning to the college on
Okay.
12th. So
Okay.
we get 18 non-days in a year to apply.
Okay.
So for those 5 days, I can apply for a non-day, so I can get a attendance relaxation, and the rest I can cover
Okay.
up by attending classes. This is also available for things like moot courts and competitions we go to represent
Right,
our
right.
university.
This is a very good thing which I think I have heard it from NLIU Bhopal student because every college में जितने भी national law में भी बात की कि सर या तो आपको participate करना है you participate but attendance गई तो गई we will not going to accommodate that part. So ये बहुत ही important factor बन जाता है to be part of this college. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. ठीक है. Anything more you want to add on to this or let's move to the next question.
One thing about that I could say about cells and centers is that I think all cells and centers teach you, even if the area of law is not that, they teach you skills that you can
Right,
apply into everything. For example, even if you're going into in-depth research in suppose one area, that is IPR, once you gain that skill, you can use it in every field. So I
right.
believe also one more thing about this, even if people around you are joining a lot of cells or a lot or a fewer number of cells than you are joining, you do not need to get influenced by it because
Right,
it is something you manage on your own pace,
right.
which is also something about law school. Everyone goes on in their own pace, so you do not need
हाँ.
to be very intimidated by other people.
राइट फेयर सिंस जब कॉलेज में कोई भी स्टूडेंट आता है तो ही शी इज नॉट वेरी मच कनेक्टेड विद एनीवन लाइक ही इज वेरी और शी इज वेरी न्यू टू द कॉलेज तो कॉलेज के इनसाइड में हाउ इज दिस सीनियर जूनियर का कनेक्ट हैपेंस लाइक इन वन ऑफ द नेशनल लॉ कॉलेज आई हर्ड कि उनका खुद का एक स्टडी बडी जैसे होता है वैसे एक बडी ग्रुप्स उनके क्रिएटेड होते हैं तो डज एनएलआईयू आल्सो हैव दिस टाइप ऑफ मैकेनिज्म लाइक टू जेल अप विद द
So
सीनियर्स
okay, so an informal mechanism and culture is that we have the concept of role seniors.
ओके
So the same roll number as you in your senior years, they are the first people you connect with.
ओके
You go meet your role seniors. There's informal concept of city seniors, people from the
ओके
same city as you or people from the same school as you. So these are some informal mechanisms that when you first come into the college, you get familiarized with such people who then
ओके
orient you to the college. However, there's a formal mechanism also. In the first year, we get PCC mentors.
ओके
So these are groups of 4 to 5 students from the first year who get allotted a fifth year who
ओके
guide you through such stuff in general.
Got it. Got it.
And then for different activities, suppose for the first freshers moot court competition, even for that you get a mentor who guide you for such things.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So that means, since you mentioned freshers moot court competition, that means first year say students get exposure to be
Yeah,
participating in the moot court competition. So were you
yes.
part of any of those ones? What was your
Yeah,
experience?
I
How you
participated.
tackled it? Because a lot many times students says कि sir life में पहली बार we are experiencing moot court. We have
Yeah.
never heard about this, how this happened. So what was your mindset so that any student who's watching, he or she would be ready about it कि कैसे जाना है?
So I think one of the major things that people are told that when you need to be a good speaker to be good at law, and then a lot of people relate that to debating. So a
Okay.
lot of people in this initially think that mooting is like debating. However, it is very different. And
Right.
so the first thing is when you get a moot prop, especially as a fresher, you really don't know anything about
Exactly.
what it talks about. So I feel the first step is to orient yourself well to the law that is used, just the basics, just the basic concept of what is being discussed.
Right.
Once you are clear with that, you move on to case laws that match the criteria of your argument. I believe a little background into how you should research, a little guidance from mentors
Hmm.
about that definitely helps. And then as you read on, the logical connect you make, especially in moods, matters. So the first experience is, of course, I mean, if you get a good first experience, if you get a good rank in the pool, that is, of course, something that pushes you forward. However, if you don't get one, I don't think that is something that should demotivate anybody since it's your first time
Hmm.
doing it. So
Right.
it's better if you learn from that and apply those insights into your later experiences.
राइट 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 अच्छा इज देयर एनी स्पेसिफिक इवेंट जो सिर्फ एनएलआईयू भोपाल कंडक्ट कराता है और जहाँ सिर्फ एनएलआईयू भोपाल ही पार्टिसिपेट करता है लाइक आई वाज टोल्ड बाय वन ऑफ द स्टूडेंट की देयर इज बैंगलोर हैदराबाद एंड कोलकाता इन तीनों का खुद का एक सेपरेट इवेंट होता है जिसमें ओनली
हाँ,
स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ दोस टॉप थ्री एनएलयूज कैन पार्टिसिपेट तो इज देयर एनी सेट ऑफ बिकॉज ये भी टॉप फाइव में आता है तो टॉप सिक्स में
as and there's no such inter-college event as such that is exclusive to some colleges. However,
ओके
there are intra-university events that do keep going on.
ओके फिर सो व्हाट आर दोस इवेंट्स व्हिच हैपन लाइक बिसाइड्स मूड कोर्ट कंपटीशन
For example, there's a freshers pool for alternate dispute resolution as well, where you do negotiation. There's an intra-sports festival, जिसमें साथ में
Hmm.
सारे sports होते हैं. And then there are intra-sports leagues of different sports. There's a
Okay.
basketball league, there's a badminton league, there's a pool league, and such events.
राइट सो आई थिंक मतलब जितना भी मैंने अभी तक जितने टिल डेट मैंने 6 7 एनएलयूज का दिस लॉ स्कूल इनसाइडर सीरीज वी हैव डन सो एनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव नॉट वॉच्ड इट प्लीज गो टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल एंड गो फॉर इट बिकॉज बाकी एनएलयूज के बारे में भी पता होना चाहिए नॉट ओनली द भोपाल वन बट आई हैव सीन जितना भी मैंने सोशल मीडिया पे देखा है एनएलआईयू भोपाल थोड़ा प्रोएक्टिव है सोशल मीडिया पे एंड उनके स्पोर्ट्स इवेंट्स बहुत ही लाउड हैं लाउड मीन्स एज इन दे स्पीक देन व्हाट दे आर एक्चुअली कंडक्टिंग सो वो कल्चर कैसा है वहां पे मतलब इज इट एक्चुअली
So
सेम व्हाट इज बीइंग शोन ऑन सोशल मीडिया
what I would say is that it is something that is very charged with energy. So our annual sports fest is called Virudka, and
ओके
law schools from all across the country come to participate, and every major sport is played here. So since the NLIU contingent also participates, so the entire campus turns up in numbers to support our own college, and that gives it a very charged atmosphere.
राइट
And it's also one of the best times on campus because you can see everybody being so active and like very supportive of their batchmates and the team that is representing. So I won't say it's very loud or brash. I would just say it's very charged with energy.
yes yes yeah, definitely fair enough ठीक है so any competitions besides the moot court and the sports one where like any exposure to at a country level or anything at an international level NLIU Bhopal is part of it
NLIU, through its different centers, holds workshops and conferences,
right
international workshops that every student can be a part of. There are competitions. For example, there may be a essay competition that can be a part of it. For example, recently there was a client counseling competition done for freshers. Through different cells, these are the competitions and conferences that they conduct and through which we get exposure to experts in the area and such.
ओके फेयर इनफ सो अगर किसी को भी इन कॉम्पिटिशन्स का पार्टिसिपेशन करना होगा तो डेफिनेटली नोटिस बोर्ड व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप सब पे कम्युनिकेशन यूज टू हैपन
Yes,
राइट
yes, on that, on emails and even on LinkedIn.
ओके फेयर इनफ तो पता चल जाता है मतलब इतने सारे मीन्स है कि इट विल नॉट गोइंग टू मिस आउट एंड इफ यू हैव एन इंटरेस्ट यू कैन बी पार्ट ऑफ इट सो फर्स्ट ईयर
Yes,
वाले भी कर सकते हैं फिफ्थ ईयर वाले भी कर सकते हैं एज एंड व्हेन टाइम अलाउज ठीक है राइट
yes.
सो एज फार एज टू माय नॉलेज एनएलआईयू भोपाल का भी सेमेस्टर सिस्टम है राइट सो दीज एग्जाम्स हैपेंस ड्यूरिंग व्हाट मंथ इज इट लाइक दिसंबर जुलाई और व्हाट इट इज
So there are two semesters. The odd semester is from July to November, and the
ओके
even semester is from January to April. So our odd semester, which is the semester right now, it starts from July. We have our mid sems in September, and we have our end sems in November.
एंड
And
दिस
then we get
हैपेंस अक्रॉस 5 years में मतलब उसमें
yes,
कोई चेंजेस नहीं है
yes. And then we have our internship break in December, which is the 1 month winter break. January, our second semester starts. February, we have midsems. April end, we have end sems. And May and June is our summer break. And we start from first week July to mid July with the next year.
ओके दैट मीन्स विंटर्स के टाइम पे आपको 1 मंथ का जनवरी में हो गया एंड तब 2 मंथ्स का मिलता है मई जून में राइट दैट इज व्हाट द ब्रेक
Yes.
इज सो इस टाइम पे डज एवरीवन गो फॉर इंटर्नशिप्स और व्हाट डू दे डू लाइक व्हाट वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस व्हाट यू हैव डन
So I did internships in both my breaks. However, sometimes in the first year, people do not go for internships or they opt for online internships, which is also fine. From third year onwards, mainly people focus on corporate internships or the area that they are interested in. I interned in the High Court of Madhya Pradesh, the Indore bench in
ओके
May, and I've been doing online internships here and there. If you manage your classes well, even with the cells and stuff, I did get time to do these online internships. So it does get hectic at times, but you can manage it well.
मतलब इट्स लाइक थ्री थिंग्स टुगेदर ना कमिटीज पे भी सेल्स में भी आप पार्ट हो 9 to 4 आपका कॉलेज है एंड देन ऑनलाइन इंटर्नशिप सो दिस इज समथिंग न्यू विच आई मतलब आई डोंट थिंक बाकी कॉलेजेस में भी स्टूडेंट पार्ट करते होंगे बट दे हैव नॉट एक्सप्लिसिटली मेंशन सो हाउ इज द एक्सपीरियंस विद दिस ऑनलाइन इंटर्नशिप लाइक यू मेंशन तो आपको कैसे
Yeah.
मिलता है ये लाइक इज इट यू हु डू इट और या आपका प्लेसमेंट सेल या
So
इंटर्नशिप
generally, I have gotten those through myself. But if a good opportunity comes in, the placement coordination committee does apprise us, and then we can
ओके
apply. So these are just internships. I did a little in legal research and drafting to improve my skills. So mostly they were manageable because they used to happen as a 3 to 4 days a week. So it did
ओके
not take all of my time and for a few hours a day.
ओके
And since it was online and remote, generally they are flexible with the time you can put in. So that
ओके
helps.
ठीक है फेयर इनफ तो मतलब इट इज कम्प्लीटली एडवाइजेबल फर्स्ट ईयर से इंटर्नशिप का एक्सपोजर तो ले ही लो दैट टोटली
It helps,
डिपेंड्स
generally
रिमोट
helps.
करना है या whatever is the mode you want to do it and if you have connects you करें नहीं तो फिर get in touch with seniors I believe कि seniors will
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
help and if
yeah.
anything comes up in the college तो placement cell तो वो help करती है ठीक है fair enough so now we have mentioned about the placement committee placement cell तो what is the placement thing which the NLIU students look after like I think RML लखनऊ में या फिर NUJS कोलकाता में whatever I have heard it from the students की sir placement if it is like 100 students are there for example in an year so 40-50 students go for judiciary litigation and so on so the remaining only 50 students go for the placement and then they get it near about 70-80% of the students get placed so यहाँ पे क्या culture है like यहाँ पे भी judiciary का culture है कम है या ज्यादा है what exactly and how is the placement thing works
So presently, there is a division, but I feel my college is more corporate inclined towards the my senior years that I've seen. However, I feel with my batch and immediate seniors, litigation judiciary culture is inculcating. Around 40% of the batch does go towards judiciary and litigation. The rest
okay
sit for placements, and there's the day zero placement, and similarly, around 60-70% students get placed.
Okay, fair enough. And do you
And
have any idea about what's the average placement which you have known the real figure from your seniors ki itna range mein we got it with a decent college span with a decent academic in the 5 years?
the average number that I have heard is 18 to 21 lakhs के आसपास.
Okay, this is what a student can definitely go for it. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
this is a very good number to start with if you want to go into the corporate. And I think a tier one firms में ही selection होगा,
Yeah,
right?
and yeah, and this is not only corporate firms coming into NLIU, these are also banks and in-house companies
Right,
that
right.
do take placements from here.
Yes, yes. ठीक है. A pretty fair idea about NLIU Bhopal. Now the viewers must have got about it. One, I think two questions to end जो मैं हर बार हमारे सीरीज में पूछता हूँ कि what is that X factor a student who wants to choose, मतलब अगर बैंगलोर मिलता है तो students always go and कि मुझे बैंगलोर ही जाना है. But still there are a few factors to be considered. City हो गया, approachability हो गई, expense हो गए, weather हो गया, language हो गई, बहुत सारे factors. A lot many students go for it. मतलब मैंने ऐसे बहुत सारे student ने बोला sir we won't go to Kolkata, we would prefer Jodhpur or we'll go to Hyderabad. ठीक है. So what is that X factor you believe and you have seen it around in the span of last 2 years कि NLIU भोपाल इस वजह से students ज्यादा prefer करते हैं instead of going to GNLU गांधीनगर.
So I think one of the major things is that NLIU, even with its curriculum, cells and committees, the curriculum is designed in such a way that it's not very burdensome upon you. So you can still manage stuff. Even if you have academics or exams going on, it gives you room to breathe. You get the time to manage your own activities as well. For example, I've seen with so many students that when they go up to college, they just lose the passion to do what they like to do. I feel here you get the time to do that. Secondly,
Okay.
I do believe one good thing about Bhopal is that it is a cosmopolitan city. So you do not face any cultural issues as such. You get people
Right.
from everywhere here. And also I
Okay.
feel it's a very welcoming city in general.
Right, right, right.
So
सिटी की
one,
वाइब बहुत डिफरेंट है.
yeah,
राइट.
yeah, it's a very slow, peaceful city that moves at its own pace. Also, another thing I feel is a major factor is expenses.
हम्म.
Bhopal in general has is cheaper or more reasonable than other cities.
अदर
Even with the
सिटीज.
food you get here, the housing, the accommodation, the everything.
एंड आई थिंक पीजीज का भी बहुत इशू नहीं रहता होगा इफ एनीवन ऑप्ट फॉर
Uh-huh.
पीजी, राइट.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ठीक है, fair enough. Last one thing, since we are recording it before CLAT 2026 is going to happen in the month of December. So what suggestion you will give for the students कि last 10 days या 1 week में you should do this जिस वजह से you have ended up into a top 5 national law college?
I would just say in the last 7 to 10 days, do not try to do anything new. Just continue with what you have been doing. Make sure it is very revision based. Attempt mocks, but I would not say do a mock just before the exam or one day before it. One day before the exam, just relax as much as you can. Have faith in your abilities. You have worked very hard for 2 years. The result will be something in your favor. Just
Right.
make sure to be very thorough with your basics and concepts that you can apply in the exam.
Right. Chalo. Great. So, guys, as what we have been saying, and now you are hearing it from one of the student who is in a dream college where you want to end up. So, thank you so much, Bhavya, for giving us this time during the preparation leaves which you have for your exam. And we will definitely want to remain in touch with you for longer time. If any time any student wants to choose between a college or something, they want to get in touch with you, so we'll definitely forward your number to the parent or the student. Thank you so much for all the students and parents for watching this session. Till then, remain in touch. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you liked it, hit the like button and put your comments में जो भी doubts हैं, even after you're cleared up with your CLAT, पूछना चाहते हो कॉलेज के बारे में, you just drop into the comments. Either we as a team will answer, और नहीं पता होगा तो Bhavya is there to help you guys. Okay, चलो. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye everyone. Thank you.